What is up, college football fans, and welcome to a new edition of QB1 with gifted quarterback expert Crissy Froyd, and she is here to talk about Texas A&M signal caller Max Johnson. Crissy, what did Max Johnson show in his 2 seasons at LSU before this transfer?
Yeah, it was kind of up and down, both for him just as a quarterback and then just for all the changes LSU was constantly making at quarterback with some of the issues that they were having throughout that time. But I do think that he showed from a very young age that he could rise to the occasion. I think back to that Florida game where LSU was having a horrible season and everyone had counted them out. And Florida was pretty much just set to win that game. It was already said and done. And he guided them to this really big victory just very early on in his career. And so I do think that he's a quarterback that can step up whenever he's asked to do so. I think he brings a pretty good range of mobility, a gritty type of mobility to the table. And I do think he's shown flashes as a passer that he'll continue to build upon.
How good of a chance do you think he has at winning this starting job battle with Haynes King for 2022?
I think it's going to be really close. I think that they both bring a lot to the table. I think Max Johnson obviously has a little bit of an edge in terms of experience. He's started and finished more games than Haynes King has, obviously. So if you're going to err on the side of experience and that kind of thing, even though at the same time, Max Johnson is just now entering Texas A&M system. But if you want a guy who's seen more action and has played more games, I would say the safer bet is Max Johnson. But if you're going to look at upside, and then just the potential of just some of the extreme athletic traits that Haynes King has shown, then maybe you want to go with him. So I think it's going to be decided in fall camp, going to be really closely fought. But like I've said before, I do think that Haynes King's the starter this season.
And you mentioned the upside of Haynes King, but what would you project overall as a quarterback for Max Johnson? Well, what's his projection long term? Can he continue to get better? Where does he need to get better?
Yeah, I do think just kind of working through some of the decision making and the passing issues that he had early on, they weren't super glaring to me, but I do think that it's kind of, you have quarterbacks, and I've said it before, whenever they're early on in their career, it is very common in the first 2 seasons to see there be some struggles as a passer and some fine tuning to do there. So I do think that there are some things just to work on there. And I think that Haynes King probably has some of the same things. But whenever we look at the mobility, I think that Haynes King has him beat in terms of speed, but I do think that this is a quarterback who can still use his legs and can still equally make plays on the ground.
What did you learn about him in your conversations with Max at the Manning Passing Academy recently?
Yeah, our conversations mostly just kind of revolved around where he's looking to improve and just kind of the change in environment, the change in the coaching staff and all of that. And he said that the culture was a little bit different around there, that there were some things that were different in the way that they did things in offense, which is to be expected. But did say that the transition and environment was very similar, just kind of the SEC atmosphere. And I think that just kind of the atmosphere you go into whenever you transition across schools from the same conference, at least in the SEC, in my opinion, is just kind of a little bit the same but different. So this is a quarterback who's already played in this type of heated environment, very competitive, probably the biggest stage in football the SEC is. And so I think that he's, if he is given the starting position, that he's ready to make that adjustment and that he's going to pick up well in College Station.